You might think you're taking care of your motorcycle, but if you're making even one of these mistakes, you're slowly destroying it without realizing. From wrecking your engine to ruining your tires, these errors cost riders thousands. Let's count down the 15 worst motorcycle mistakes only idiots still make. Number 15. Ignoring small oil leaks and failing seals. Ignoring small oil leaks on a motorcycle is like ignoring a ticking time bomb. What looks like a harmless drip under the bike can quickly spiral into a serious engine failure. These small leaks gradually reduce internal oil pressure, which leads to insufficient lubrication, increased internal heat, and excessive friction. Motorcycles rely on compact engines that run at high temperatures and tight tolerances. Even a minor oil leak compromises the entire system. Seals and gaskets harden over time, especially under heavy use or extreme heat. If those parts start leaking, the engine slowly starves for oil, and that stress causes performance loss, poor throttle response, and even cylinder warping in extreme cases. You will likely never notice the damage until it's too late. The solution: use a trusted high-mileage seal conditioner while the problem is still small. Products like AT205 Reseal are formulated to restore flexibility to rubber seals and gaskets without damaging internal components. Add it directly to the oil during your change. Let the engine idle and give it a few hundred miles to circulate. A motorcycle engine producing 85 horsepower and 140 pound-feet of torque from an 1128 cubic centimeter V-twin needs every drop of oil working for it, not leaking out. Bikes in this range typically weigh around 680 pounds with hydraulic disc brakes front and rear and telescopic forks or monoshocks depending on the model. Keeping that engine sealed tight is the cheapest way to avoid a catastrophic failure and keep the ride smooth. Number 14. Riding with low oil levels. Riding with low oil levels is one of the fastest ways to destroy a perfectly good motorcycle engine. Unlike cars, motorcycle engines hold very little oil, typically just 2 to 4 quarts, and that oil is doing a lot more work. It's lubricating high-revving components, cooling vital areas, and absorbing engine heat. Many riders forget to check their oil after long rides, aggressive throttle use, or extended highway runs. But motorcycles, especially air-cooled or high-compression models, can burn through oil faster than expected. Once the level dips below the safe mark, the oil pump starts sucking in air bubbles, starving the engine of lubrication. Heat builds up, friction increases, and suddenly a slight drop in oil becomes a full-blown mechanical disaster. Checking oil only takes a minute and should be done weekly, or every few rides at minimum. Use the dipstick or sight glass when the bike is warm and level. If it's low, top up with the manufacturer-recommended oil immediately. Don't wait for the oil light to tell you. It often appears only after damage has already started. A modern motorcycle pushing 80 horsepower and 126 pound-feet of torque from a 987 cubic centimeter V-twin demands constant oil flow. These engines are precision machines and run hot under stress. Add in a typical curb weight of 620 pounds, dual disc front brakes, and rear monoshock suspension, and you have a performance package that cannot afford a dry sump. Maintain proper oil levels and the engine will reward you with reliability and longevity. If you're serious about protecting your ride and yourself, our go-to gear list is in the description. Number 13. Using cheap or incorrect spark plugs. Your motorcycle's spark plugs are tiny components with a massive responsibility, igniting the air-fuel mixture inside the combustion chamber with perfect timing and energy. Use the wrong plugs or cheap replacements, and you risk misfires, overheating, poor acceleration, and even permanent engine damage. It might save you $20 up front, but the long-term cost is devastating. Using spark plugs with the incorrect heat range can lead to pre-ignition, where combustion happens too early in the engine cycle. This can cause piston damage, warped valves, and detonation that eats into the cylinder walls. I've seen engines literally melt down from cheap aftermarket plugs that weren't properly gapped or thermally matched to the engine's compression. Always consult your owner's manual or dealer and buy plugs that match the exact specs for your bike. That includes the thread length, tip material, and heat range. Never eyeball spark plug gaps unless you have proper feeler gauges, and never reuse plugs past their recommended lifespan. On a motorcycle delivering 90 horsepower and 135 pound-feet of torque from a 1064 cubic centimeter V twin engine, the spark plug has to fire thousands of times per minute with exact precision. These engines are supported by a braking system using dual discs up front and a single disc in the rear, along with a curb weight of around 685 pounds. That level of performance deserves top-grade ignition. Good spark equals good power. Bad plugs equal engine failure. Don't gamble. We dug into real tech manuals and failure reports to make this list. So if you've made even one of these mistakes, comment below and hit subscribe to ride smarter. Number 12. Using the wrong type of fuel. Filling up your motorcycle might seem like the easiest part of the ride. You pull up to the gas station, grab the nozzle, and top off the tank. But if you choose the wrong octane, you're doing more damage than you think, and it won't take long to feel the consequences. High compression motorcycle engines, especially those found in performance cruisers and sport bikes, are designed to run on premium grade fuel for a reason. Using regular unleaded in a bike that demands premium causes early detonation, also called knocking, which leads to poor performance, overheating, and serious internal damage over time. Knocking is what happens when the air-fuel mixture ignites before the spark plug fires. This causes uneven combustion, creating pressure spikes inside the cylinder that your engine was never designed to handle. It's a fast track to pitted pistons, damaged valves, and in extreme cases, a complete engine rebuild. I've seen engines with less than 10,000 miles end up in the scrap bin simply because the owner wanted to save a few bucks at the pump. If your motorcycle manual calls for premium, use it every time. Conversely, if your bike is tuned for regular fuel, using premium will not give you more power. It simply burns slower, and your engine won't benefit from it. You'll just waste money. Saving money on fuel isn't worth wrecking an engine built for performance. Always match your fuel to your machine. Number 11. Letting your bike sit too long. Letting your motorcycle sit for long periods might seem harmless. After all, you're not putting miles on it, right? Wrong. When a bike sits unused, it's slowly breaking down. Parts that are meant to move seize up. Fluids thicken and separate. Seals dry out. And the next time you hit that ignition switch, your bike might not even crank. First comes the battery. Modern motorcycles use onboard computers, immobilizers, and digital displays that draw small amounts of current even when the bike is off. Leave it untouched for a few weeks and the battery will drain below the start threshold. After a month or two, it may be dead for good. Tires are next. Motorcycles rest on narrow contact patches. Leave your bike parked in the same position too long and the tires develop flat spots. The result? A bumpy, uneven ride. In some cases, flat spots become permanent, forcing you to replace the entire set. Add in the risk of sidewall cracking, and you're looking at up to $800 in fresh rubber. Then there's the oil. When a bike sits, contaminants settle and the oil separates. Thick sludge builds in the pan, and that means your engine starts dry. No lubrication, no protection. To prevent all this, start your bike once a week. Let it idle for 5 to 10 minutes or take it for a short ride. Use a fuel stabilizer and battery tender if storing it for the season. It's a simple routine that can save you thousands in preventable damage. Number 10. Using dish soap to wash your bike. Grabbing a bottle of dish soap and a sponge from your kitchen might feel like a clever money-saving move when it's time to wash your motorcycle, but it's one of the fastest ways to ruin your bike's finish, plastic trim, and rubber seals. Dish soap is engineered to break down grease and oil, which is great for pots and pans, but terrible for motorcycle paint and wax protection. The strong detergents strip off your protective wax layer, leaving the paint fully exposed to ultraviolet rays, water spots, bird droppings, and road grime. Once that wax layer is gone, oxidation sets in fast, especially if you park your bike outdoor. Fading, discoloration, and dull patches start to appear across your gas tank and fenders. And once the clear coat is compromised, rust can follow. It's not just cosmetic either. Dish soap dries out rubber trim and gaskets, making them brittle over time. I've seen old rubber boots crack right down the middle from repeated exposure to harsh cleaners. Repainting a motorcycle tank can cost anywhere from $300 to over $1,000. Replacing worn trim, restoring plastic lenses, or resealing body panels is just as costly. The better solution? Use a pH-balanced motorcycle shampoo made specifically for bikes. Pair it with a microfiber wash mitt and a separate bucket for wheels. It's a small investment, but one that keeps your paint shining and your plastics protected. Dish soap belongs in the kitchen, not on your motorcycle. Number 9. Spraying cold water on a hot engine. Riders love a clean machine, but if you spray cold water directly onto a hot engine, you are making one of the most expensive mistakes in motorcycling. After a long ride, your engine components are scorching hot, especially on V-twin and inline-4 platforms that already run warm. When cold water hits that metal, it causes sudden contraction, a reaction known as thermal shock. That rapid temperature swing doesn't just cause surface cracks, it can warp your cylinder heads, crack your engine block, and destroy valve seats. The bigger issue is that most riders don't see the damage immediately. Hairline fractures may take weeks to reveal themselves, but when they do, the symptoms are brutal. Leaking head gaskets, overheating, loss of compression, and eventually full-blown mechanical failure. Once that happens, you are looking at several $1,000s in repairs, or a blown engine that turns your whole bike into scrap. And it's not just the metal you are putting at risk. Modern motorcycles are filled with sensitive electronics, wiring harnesses, ignition coils, and fuel injector systems. These components are tightly packed under your tank and frame, and they are absolutely not waterproof. The right approach is simple. Always let your motorcycle cool down for at least 30 minutes before washing. Use a damp microfiber cloth for spot cleaning, and if you must hose it off, keep the spray gentle and the engine cold. Cover electrical components like the fuse box and ignition module with plastic wrap or a waterproof cloth. A clean bike is a beautiful thing, but not if it comes at the cost of your engine's lifespan. Respect the cool down period and your bike will keep riding strong for years. Number 8. Overloading the bike with gear or passengers. Every motorcycle is engineered with a specific weight capacity, and pushing beyond it is not just unsafe, it's destructive. Whether you're stacking luggage, mounting saddlebags, or carrying a passenger, exceeding your bike's payload limit wrecks your suspension, compromises your frame, and shreds your handling. Most motorcycles can safely carry between 400 and 500 pounds, including the rider. Go beyond that and you are asking for serious trouble. The first place you'll notice it, the ride. Your shocks bottom out, the bike sags in the rear, and your center of gravity shifts dangerously high. That means more wobble in turns, less responsiveness in corners, and sketchy emergency handling at highway speeds. Your tires will wear unevenly and your braking distance will shoot up, because your brakes weren't designed to stop that much weight. It doesn't stop there. Excess weight strains your frame welds and swing arm mounts. Rear subframes, especially on cruisers and touring bikes, can crack over time, especially when top boxes or rear racks are loaded without support. Even your drivetrain takes a hit. Chains stretch faster, belts wear down, and clutches burn out early because they're compensating for way more load than they were designed to handle. The fix? Check your owner's manual for the gross vehicle weight rating. Weigh your gear, including the rider and passenger, and stay under that number. If you tour long distances, consider adding suspension upgrades like heavy-duty shocks or air-assisted dampers. One overloaded ride is enough to break things you can't see until they fail. Ride smarter, not heavier. Number 7. Installing oversized wheels or tires without recalibration. Nothing changes a bike's look like a fresh set of rims or some beefier rubber, but oversized wheels and tires without recalibrating your bike's systems can cause way more harm than good. Riders often upgrade for aesthetics, forgetting that wheel size directly affects speed sensors, suspension dynamics, and even safety systems like anti-lock braking. One wrong step here, and your ride becomes unstable, unpredictable, and unsafe. Bigger wheels change your effective gearing, which throws off your speedometer readings. That means you could be riding faster than you think, blowing through speed limits and putting more strain on your engine. It also confuses your traction control system, if your bike has one, and that opens the door to wheel spin or lockup in emergency braking. Your suspension doesn't like surprises either. Oversized wheels change ride height, shifting your rake and trail measurements. That affects how your bike leans, corners, and absorbs bumps. I've seen riders install oversized front wheels only to end up with front-end wobble at 60 miles per hour and a long hospital bill to match. If you're thinking about upgrading, consult your mechanic and do it right. Use manufacturer-approved upgrades, install spacers or risers if needed, and always reprogram your bike's electronics to match the new specs. It may cost more up front, but it's a lot cheaper than fixing a bike or a body that got wrecked by poor judgment. Number 6. Ignoring rust on the frame or exhaust. Rust does not start as a problem. It becomes one when you ignore it. That orange tint on your exhaust, subframe, or brackets, that is not cosmetic. It is a warning. Surface rust, especially on a motorcycle, is never just surface. The moment you see it, you are on the clock. On a motorcycle, where every pound matters and balance is everything, structural rust is a silent killer. Exhaust flanges can fail. Subframe tubes can corrode and crack. Bolt holes seize or strip. Mounting points on the pegs or fairing brackets start flexing instead of holding solid. I have seen older cruisers and neglected sport bikes fail inspection just because rust was spreading underneath the surface where the rider never looked. Once rust reaches the inside of frame tubing or exhaust welds, repair is rarely worth it. Your first defense? Inspection. At least once a month, especially in winter or rainy seasons, run your hand along the underside of the exhaust, the seams of the subframe, and around the axle mounts and kickstand bracket. Feel for bubbling paint, discoloration, or texture changes. Then treat it. Use a dedicated rust converter or motorcycle-safe corrosion inhibitor. Let it cure, then touch up the paint with a proper top coat. Some riders apply chain wax or anti-rust fogging sprays inside hollow tubing for long-term storage. The cost of ignoring rust is not just cosmetic, it is functional and financial. Your bike's resale value drops, but more importantly, your own safety takes a hit. A frame weakened by rust can fail under load. A cracked exhaust flange can lead to loss of back pressure and performance. Treat it early and it is a weekend job. Wait too long and it is a write-off. Number 5. Ignoring dashboard warning lights or indicators. Riders love to say, "It still runs fine." That phrase has cost more engines than any crash ever could. Modern motorcycles are loaded with sensors: oil pressure, ABS, traction control, engine temperature, throttle position. All of them feed into your dashboard to protect you from damage or danger. But when that little warning light flashes and you ignore it, you are gambling with your entire motorcycle. On older carbureted bikes, maybe you could ignore a check engine light and get away with it, but not on anything built after 2010. Ride-by-wire systems, fuel injection, electronically controlled ignitions, these are tightly integrated. Ignoring a warning for low oil pressure can result in camshaft damage or crank wear. An ABS light could mean a failed sensor or cracked ring, which compromises your braking at high speed. These lights are not just for diagnostics, they are early alarms. I have seen riders overlook a check engine light for months only to burn through their catalytic converters, triggering a multi-thousand-dollar repair. One guy had his voltage regulator fail silently. His battery started boiling and it fried the ECU, all because the red battery light came on and he ignored it. What should you do? First, carry a basic onboard diagnostic scanner or code reader that's compatible with your bike. Some even connect to your smartphone. Second, if you see a flashing warning light, pull over and check the basics: oil level, coolant, brakes. Do not wait for symptoms. The light is the symptom. Dealers charge diagnostic fees, but catching a bad sensor or loose gas cap now is nothing compared to the cost of letting it snowball. Treat every warning light as a serious message, because your bike is not trying to annoy you. It is trying to survive. Number 4. Riding with a cracked windshield or visor. It starts with a chip, maybe from a rock kicked up by a semi, maybe a low-speed tip over in the garage. A small crack in your windshield or face shield might seem harmless at first, but every mile you ride with it, that crack spreads like a spider web under pressure. If you ride with a cracked windshield, your visibility is compromised from the start. Light scatters, rain pools unevenly, and the distortion can trick your eyes when cornering. I have seen riders with sun-faded windshields that cracked in a crosswind on the freeway, instantly turning a routine ride into a full-blown emergency. Even worse, a cracked visor. That is your last line of defense against gravel, insects, and road debris. If it fails mid-ride, your eyes are exposed. That is not just uncomfortable, that is dangerous. I know riders who have had bees, rocks, or even cigarette butts hit them in the face because of a faulty or cracked visor. It is not worth the risk. Replacing a visor or windshield is not expensive. Most clip-on replacements cost less than $100. Even premium curved or tinted options for full fairings rarely exceed $200. But the damage from ignoring a crack? That could mean hospital bills or worse. Inspect your shield every time you wash the bike. Hold it up to the light. Check for scratches, cloudiness, or cracks near the mounting points. These are high-stress areas. If it flexes or rattles at speed, replace it. Your vision is your safety. Do not risk it for a piece of plastic that is past its prime. Number 3. Overfilling the gas tank. When you pull up to the gas station, it's tempting to squeeze in that last bit of fuel, rounding up the number on the pump or topping off just in case. But this habit can do far more harm than good, especially on a motorcycle. Overfilling your gas tank doesn't give you more mileage. It overwhelms your bike's vapor recovery system and leads directly to performance problems most riders never see coming. Modern motorcycles are equipped with evaporative emission control systems. These systems are designed to safely manage fuel vapors and prevent them from escaping into the air. But when you continue to pump fuel after the nozzle clicks off, that excess gasoline doesn't stay in the tank. It spills into the vapor system and floods the charcoal canister, saturating it with liquid fuel rather than vapor. Once that happens, the system can no longer manage emissions, and your motorcycle may start running rich, stalling at idle, or showing poor throttle response. The problems don't stop there. Gasoline spilling out of the filler neck can easily run down onto your paint or chrome. On hot days, this fuel evaporates quickly, but not before it eats into your finish, damaging clear coats and leaving permanent stains. The solution is simple. When the nozzle clicks, stop. That's not a suggestion, it's the signal that your tank is full and functioning safely. Overfilling might feel harmless in the moment, but over time, it causes mechanical damage, emissions failures, and cosmetic decay. Respect the shutoff and save yourself from hundreds of dollars in avoidable repairs. Number 2. Using hot water to de-ice a windshield or visor. When your bike's windshield or helmet visor is frozen over, pouring hot water on it might seem like a quick fix, but what you're actually doing is setting up a perfect storm for cracking, shattering, or warping the materials that protect your eyes and your ride. The science behind it is simple, and the damage is expensive. Both polycarbonate and plexiglass, the materials most motorcycle windshields and visors are made of, expand and contract with temperature changes. When you pour hot water over a sheet of ice-cold plastic, the outer surface rapidly expands while the inner side remains contracted. That stress difference causes microfractures that quickly become visible cracks. And if the surface already had a tiny chip or flaw, the entire visor can spiderweb in seconds. This isn't just about aesthetics. A cracked visor at highway speed creates light refraction, glare, and blurred vision. If the windshield is damaged, airflow over the bike becomes unpredictable, affecting handling and wind noise. And repairing or replacing these parts is not cheap. A quality replacement visor or windshield can run anywhere from $150 to $400, and custom fitments can go even higher. Instead, use a proper motorcycle-safe defogger or de-icer spray made for plastics. Let the bike warm up naturally while idling, or use a microfiber cloth and patience to clear frost. It might take a few extra minutes, but it's far safer and saves you the cost and hassle of replacing critical visibility components. Number 1. Skipping tire pressure checks. Tire pressure might seem like a small detail, but it's the foundation of your bike's safety, performance, and handling. Yet this is one of the most neglected checks among motorcycle riders, especially those who only ride on weekends or store their bike for long stretches. That oversight is dangerous because both underinflated and overinflated tires come with consequences that can put you in the hospital, or worse. When a tire is underinflated, the contact patch with the road increases, causing excess friction. This makes the tire overheat, especially during long rides or hot days, leading to sudden blowout. The sidewalls flex more, degrading the tire's internal structure and wearing out the rubber faster. On the other hand, overinflated tires reduce the contact patch, decreasing grip and making the ride feel harsh. They're more likely to lose traction in wet conditions and cause uneven tread wear, wasting your investment and putting your control at risk. You should also consider your specific motorcycle setup. Whether you ride solo, with a passenger, or carry luggage, the correct pressure changes. Refer to the owner's manual or the manufacturer's label under the seat or on the swing arm. Check the pressure cold. windshield before the bike has been ridden for the day and adjust accordingly. Tires are the only thing between you and the pavement. Ignoring them is not just a mistake, it's a gamble. Check your pressures weekly and before every long ride. It only takes 2 minutes, but it could save your tires, your money, and possibly your life. So ask yourself, how many of these are already costing you performance? Tell us in the comments which one you fixed or which one you wish you'd caught sooner. And if this video saved you from a 4-figure repair bill, hit that subscribe button because the smartest riders aren't just fast, they're informed.